You know, we often talk about the feminization of the black male and how it's being pushed highly through music, through movies, through the media, entertainment, etc., etc. And we often relate that back to the younger generation. We talk about how these kids are wearing skinny jeans or their mannerism, or you have rappers out here like Young Thug that are taking on feminine qualities. And I mean, we go on and on about this upcoming generation and how the young men are reverting back as if they're women. They're very feminine nowadays. And I spoke about that, and several other people out here spoke about that, and we spoke about that in the barbershops, etc., etc. But oftentimes we don't look at those who are older, those cats who might be in their 30s, 40s, or 50s that are playing into that same femininity, but in a different way. A lot of times we feel like that only is targeted to people who wear women's clothing, or use women terms, or those people who might just their whole mannerism is feminine, but that's not always the case. And shout out to Herman, brother that sent me this article on my Facebook fan page. And it's about a brother who decided to basically conform to the so called dominant society for a paycheck. And a lot of our black people nowadays, they're going this route. I hate to say it, but they are truly going this route. We have a group of black people nowadays that basically are willing to submit themselves or conform to the so-called system, and basically you lose their identity all for a paycheck from the so-called dominant society. And I'm gonna go ahead and read this article to you guys. I thought it was disturbing, and it just goes to show you where a lot of our people mindset is nowadays. It says Jacksonville, Florida, to address negative stereotypes in the black community, one man is cutting his dreadlocks to make a statement. Even though some say appearance shouldn't matter, Dominique Davis, 41, said his hair is holding him back. So he's getting a haircut for the first time in 10 years. It's time for a change because enough is enough, Davis says. Davis was getting his haircut as part of an Operation Save Our Sons initiative. The group works to address negative stereotypes in the black community. Davis is an ex-offender. Keyword, I'm going to say it again. Davis is an ex-offender and served 6 years in prison. He's now trying to enter back into society by first getting a job. People feel like everyone that has dreads are bad people or they're criminals, Davis says. He said the stereotype is portrayed more and more with recent crime in Jacksonville. You turn on the TV, and if they have a suspect, the description is a person with dreads, Davis says. You absolutely have to dress. You can't go on an interview with jeans, t-shirt. You're basically selling yourself. Okay, that was the article on this guy you see on your screen right now, and he mentioned at the end that you have to sell yourself and you can't go on an interview with jeans and a t-shirt. And he's correct about that. When you go into an interview, you have to give off the images if you're serious about yourself. It's different once you've built a certain rapport at the company or the business or whatever you're going to interview for, and when you build up a reputation for yourself that you don't necessarily have to prove yourself by your physical image. So he's right about that. You can't go into an interview with, jeans and a baseball cap to the back and say, yeah, hire me, because nobody's going to take you serious. Because when we look at and we study the human perspective, people easily judge people by their appearance, and these things are reflected by the images that we see on TV. It's reflected by stereotypes. It's reflected by racism in society is reflected by American standards. So he's right about that. But where I think this brother has lost himself is that he feels like by him cutting his dreads, that's going to excuse the fact that he's still a black male that's a convicted felon. And a lot of times, our black people, we feel like, well, if we conform to the dominant society, if we speak this way, if we change the type of cars we drive, if we put on a certain type of clothing, if we walk a certain way, if we associate ourselves with other white people, that we will be accepted here in America, and we will get that job that we want, or bring in that type of income that we want to. And it's really a slave mindset, because what it really shows is that you are okay with not containing integrity about yourself, not being who you are, not living your life the way you want to, all for a paycheck. Now, I know there's certain jobs that, you might have an issue with wearing dreads. Sometimes if you're going for a cooking position or something like that, they might not want somebody with long hair, even though they have hair nets on and things like that. A lot of times they don't really want to deal with somebody with long hair, just because they don't want to deal with lawsuits and things like that. But there are plenty black men that are out here in society that are working that have dreads. Yeah, you have to keep them neat. Yeah, you can't have them all over the place, just for professionalism. But you don't have to go to the barbershop and cut your hair so you can go out and beg for a job to the white man. And, it really just goes back to that, that slave mindset that some of our people have, that we feel like we have to submit, or we have to lose who we are in the process in order to climb up the American ladder. And this is why I say, and I advocate that we need more black businesses so that we can teach our people that we don't have to denounce who we are. We don't have to conform to a certain system or a certain mindset, or portray ourselves in a certain way to make white folks comfortable. And me, I go to work. I have a fade. I don't have dreads or braids or anything like that. But I have a fade because I want a fade, not because I feel like I have to go to work and put on this certain image. There's some times when I'm in board meetings, or I'm in business meetings or whatever, or I might have to go to a certain record company or business meeting or whatever. And I'll come in there, I'll dress nice, but sometimes I'll have a fitty cap on. Sometimes I'll have a snapback on. Sometimes I'm not in a suit and tie. And that's because, for one, I've built a reputation to where I don't always have to come in a suit and tie in order to conduct business. Two, I'm not the type of person where I feel like I have to conform to a certain standard or to a white standard in order for me to progress myself in my career. And this just comes with you having integrity. This comes with you knowing yourself, and this comes with you just having respect for yourself. But I wanted to point this out, and I want to tell, especially the brothers out here, you don't have to conform to a system, or come out here and coon, or say certain things like a Stephen A. Smith or Charles Barkley would say in order to be successful. Because when you do that, what you do is, in the process, you lose a piece of yourself. Every day when you go to work and you look in the mirror and you say, hey, you know what? I have to dress this way. I have to talk this way. I have to suppress who I am as a black man or a black woman in order to be successful or pay my bill. That's a problem. That's a serious issue. And at the end of the day, you will be very unhappy because you're not truly being who you are. It's almost like going down a career path and doing something because your parents want you to do that, or because your father was in a certain type of career, your mother was in a certain type of career. They're pushing heavily for you to do that. Not thinking about in the process that, does this really make me happy? Is this something that I really want to do? Or am I doing this to be accepted or to please my parents? At the end of the day, we all have to be individuals. We have to be ourselves. We have to live in our skin. And when we go out in society and we put on a role, and I understand as black people in America, a lot of times, sometimes we do have to suppress our feelings about things. I understand that completely. But you don't lose your integrity in the process. You don't lose your respect. But when you have to go out into society and basically put on a mask every day, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself in the inside because you're not truly being who you are. You're not truly being what you want to be. And, I want to do this video for, especially, the young brothers that's coming up. Be yourself. Be a man. Okay? Don't suppress who you are so that you can collect a paycheck. Don't accept certain things. Don't say, well, it's just the way it is. We live with racism and we live with white supremacy and all that. And we go outside and we're, racially profiled, or we're attacked every day. Or, it's 10 times, we have to work 10 times hard in order to get a job that a white person get with the snap of their finger. Don't accept that. You do what you do. You have to do every day to change that. You create change. You take care of your family. But you be who you are. You be a man. You be a man of respect, integrity, morals, and character. Not a puppet for the system. Or willing to do and change anything about yourself in order to collect a paycheck or to climb up a ladder or to be accepted by white folks. But that's all I gotta say. You guys give me your feedback if you want. This article will be in the description box. Brothers, be a man. Stand up. Be who you want to be. Don't conform to a system because it's been like that for 500 years. You fight that system. It's time to pick up our balls, man, and start being men.